So we got our final set of episodes of Cobra Kai. I just wanted to take the time here to quickly share my thoughts on it because I have a bedtime and it is very close to my bedtime. So I just wanted to take the time here to actually just let out my thoughts on these last episodes of Cobra Kai as somebody who's been watching and enjoying this show for a good amount of time. This was going to be a full proper review, but I didn't get around the time to doing that, so this is the best I got for a review here. I'll just get straight into this one. No intro, no nothing, no anything. This is just going to be a full one take review on Cobra Kai Season 6, Part 3. And as somebody that didn't enjoy Season 6 Part 1 or Season 6 Part 2, actually, I kind of liked Season 6 Part 2 when it first dropped, but as time passed on, it has aged very poorly with me. Thus, I went into Season 6 Part 3 with very low expectations, and I can say that Season 6 Part 3 is to me easily the best set of episodes in the sixth season of Cobra Kai. Part of that simply is because since it is the final set of episodes, it manages to have these deeply emotional conclusions to characters, character arcs, the ending of journeys, all that kind of fun stuff in here, while still having a bunch of things that you want from Cobra Kai. And where it takes the characters, I would say makes a lot more sense with this set of episodes than it does in the first two parts of Season 6. A prime example of this for me, the one that immediately comes to mind, is Daniel, who he kind of like, after Season 5, all he wants to do is sort of expand Miyagi-Do in order to spread Mr. Miyagi's teachings, because that's what he wants to do. He wants to be a good influence and is eager to do so. And I criticized him in those two parts because that's not really what Miyagi-Do or the Karate Kid franchise was ever about. Here, in this part of the show, he kind of goes through this. I'm actually just going to get into spoilers here. Maybe on the title I will put spoiler review. I'm just going to get into spoilers. It doesn't even matter to me. But here, he realizes that he doesn't need to expand Miyagi-Do in order to pass down his teachings from one generation to the next. He's able to do that just by passing it down from one generation to the next. Not worldwide teachings or anything, because that's not what Miyagi-Do was made for. And it even makes that very clear, where Sam and, not Robbie, but Sam kind of like backs out of her fight because she's afraid of fighting her friend, kind of, and she doesn't feel like she has anything to fight for. And Daniel's proud of that, because this Miyagi-Do isn't about just wanting to fight, wanting the victory for the sake of a victory. And he actually becomes proud of that. And so that's the one that immediately just comes to mind for me. But this could also apply to a bunch of other characters. Like, there's even more to Daniel I didn't even mention, like how he fully accepts Cobra Kai exists and the ways of Cobra Kai. But also, like, I could go on about this for really any character. Another big one that stands out for me is Kreese, where Kreese was just this hardened dude from war. In basically his entirety of the show, kind of uses these Cobra Kai students as a mechanism for him to cope with that. He treats them as soldiers in a battlefield. This is his war, and these are the soldiers in him. That's kind of how he's been portrayed all throughout the show. And here in this final episode, I think this is some of the best Kreese that we've ever gotten, as he actually gets a redemptive arc that doesn't feel cheap, it doesn't feel stale, it doesn't feel forced, it feels believable. After the tragedy of somebody dying in the previous episode before this set of episodes, Kreese is sort of trying to think about how to go about this and if he actually wants to continue the tournament. And that's something this is a side of a character we've never really seen in him before. And he realizes his faults. He realizes what he's really doing with these kids in Cobra Kai. Does he really want to train them, or is he just using them as his battlefield? Even going back to the Karate Kid 2, in that opening scene, when he chokes Johnny out for losing, like, going back all the way there, not just even by the show, he's kind of been the same person, and he finally snaps out of it after a kid dies. realizes his mistakes and goes out to make amends with everybody that he has done wrong in the show. He decides to step back from Cobra Kai. You get this amazing moment with him and Johnny where they're just talking. Johnny is letting his heart out to him. Kreese is realizing mistakes. And then they hug. I don't want to go too in depth into that, even though I could, because I have a limited time to do this video, but that is just such a great character moment for each of those characters. There are a lot of characters in here I could just go about, but beyond that, beyond just the characters, I would say, the fights here are a lot more intense than the fights in Season 6 Part 1 and Part 2. Whatever went wrong with those, I didn't feel the fights had any meaning to them. The tournament brawl, which my brother absolutely loves, the tournament brawl at the end of Part 2, I didn't really enjoy because it wasn't really any earned conflict or drama. It was a bunch of random people punching and kicking random people until a kid dies. Here, the fights actually have some meaning. You get a moment in let's just say Miguel and Axel's fight, where Axel is sort of contemplating the ways he understands that he is on the wrong side. He snaps out of it, and after he just injured Robbie, he doesn't make that same mistake, and he loses on purpose in order to let Miguel win, because he doesn't want the Iron Dragons to win. There is something that's just quite a bit satisfying about that, and I actually liked Axel a little bit more because of those smaller moments. And once again, just like the fights, that they have more meaning, where Johnny versus Sensei Wolf, where at the very end they're fighting for the title at like Best Dojo, and Johnny is finally able to sort of redeem himself after losing in 1984. He finally gets what he wants. This is the fight where he does win, and it could just lead to some very satisfying moments, not for just this show, but for the entire franchise as a whole. And so I just have a lot of things to say about this, like a lot of spoiler thoughts here, because this is going to be a spoiler review. But yeah, this set of episodes, especially the last 2.5 episodes for me, were significantly better than anything that came before in Season 6, because it would manage to send off the characters very nicely. Even some of these like moments of relatability are even brought back to the table. And what I enjoyed about the previous seasons, the first few seasons so much, is that it had this sense of relatability. It took the original Karate Kid formula about a father and son finding each other and does it in a Cobra Kai fashion, for sure, in Season 1. And in this one, you get Johnny Miguel back in the Cobra Kai outfit. And even Daniel's in the Cobra Kai outfit, gets some awesome lines in there. Loved all that stuff. And even the stuff with Sam, where she's trying to move away, not exactly trying to move away from her parents, but she wants to pursue something different than what her parents want. That is something more relatable than anything else they put in Season 6, I would say. As a teenager, it's a very relatable concept. So even stuff like that. So I thought Season 6 Part 3 was very good. It's definitely not without its flaws. There is a point in time where Kreese and Silver get into a fight, blow up, and die over like kids doing karate. Crazy wild stuff, but crazy wild stuff in the Cobra Kai sense. So while it isn't without its faults. Certainly the journey to get here was very, very rough. But I would say that this is some of the best Cobra Kai we've gotten since Season 4. So overall, as of this moment, I'm feeling like I'll give this part a B+. If I had to place this with the other two parts of Season 6, it would be a B-. But this section of the show was fantastic. Not the previous two sections of the show, this particular section. So those are my thoughts on Cobra Kai Season 6 Part 3. Down below in the comment section, share what you thought of it. Over on my channel, there's more content like this. Check those out right now. Thank you guys so much for sticking around to the end. I will see you in the next one.